Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. If you like what you see and hear today, please hit the like and the subscribe button. Okay, so today I want to talk about early red flags in the dating process. Beware of these red flags early on. My program is really, think of it like a machine. The idea here is early on we are screening women. We want to separate the wheat from the chaff. I've talked before about the fact that really in America, only about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women are long-term relationship material or marriage material, and you need to learn to sift out the women who are and the women who aren't. So, as mentioned, I want to go over some red flags early on in the relationship. If you see these red flags, you guys, move on. A lot of time, almost all the time, guys make the mistake in the relationship, and all they do is they go by their own interest level. They really like a gal, so they ignore these red flags early on in the process, and it leads to nothing but trouble down the road. So let's talk about some of these red flags. Well, before I do, let me talk a little bit more about the purpose of my program. And the purpose of my program is to find you a woman with these 5 characteristics. She must be kind. She must be flexible, loving, giving, and respectful. These are the qualities you want in someone that you're going to have a long-term relationship with or to marry, okay? If she has these qualities, you've got to keep her. So these are some red flags that mean that she doesn't have these qualities. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about are the first 3 dates. She has to accept your date ideas, okay? If she doesn't, she's probably inflexible or worse. For example, I once met this gal, I got her phone number, gorgeous, probably what we would call a 9. Gorgeous gal. I call her up, we have a little chit chat, little back and forth, I get her comfortable, then I ask her out. I say, hey, and when we ask girls out, we always have a plan. My plan was to take her to the coffee shop and maybe the mall. First dates should always be action dates. Remember, coffee shop, mall, and she counters. She says, well, I want to go to dinner at this French restaurant. So I take a look. The French restaurant is $200. It's one of the most expensive restaurants in town. Not only that, but I would have to drive 45 minutes to her house to pick her up, another 45 minutes to get to the place. So really, I would have to do 3 hours of driving and spend more than $200. So I call her back up and I say, well, I go, I'm on a diet. I'm trying to lose weight. I really don't want to do I don't want to do a dinner date. So I said, well, how about we go get a drink? She says, no, I don't want to do that. How about we go to this other restaurant, this other sushi restaurant? Again, this is the most expensive one in town and would involve 3 hours of driving. This is for a gal you've never been on a date with. So I said, look, I don't think it's going to work out. I hung up the phone and I deleted her number. Okay. So you want a gal that if a woman likes you, the date isn't going to matter. If the woman likes you, she's going to go to the mall. She's going to go miniature golfing. She's going to go go-kart racing. She's going to agree to do whatever you want to do because she likes you. If she's a gold digger and her interest in you isn't that high, then she's going to demand you take her to an expensive dinner. I've had a separate video on why we don't do expensive dinner dates early on in the dating process. Okay, so she must agree with the first dates. Next, when you ask her out, she needs to give you a solid answer. If she says, well, maybe I'll go out with you Wednesday, give me a call, and you want to go out, say at Wednesday at 8 o'clock, you want to take her to coffee or a drink, 8 in the evening, and she says, give me a call at 7, and I will see if I'm free. Don't do that, guys. Again, that means she has low interest in you. Don't do that. If she asks you to call for a confirmation, say, well, look, tell you what, we'll make a date for another time when your schedule is more secure. If she's willing then to solidify her schedule and commit to a time. Okay, if she doesn't, guys, again, it's a red flag and move on, delete her number. Okay. I already had a video on this, no group dates, guys, okay? So I'm not going to get into detail on this. I have a separate video about that. No group dates. Another thing, if a gal talks about her ex-boyfriend, that means she's going to be nothing but trouble. That means, one, she's not over him, one, and two, it's very disrespectful to you. If a woman is constantly talking about her ex-boyfriend or her ex-husband, that is a huge red flag. Move on. Another red flag, well, we'll get back to that one actually. I knew a guy, the girl was always talking about her ex, and she was still wearing his engagement ring. They were together for like 11 years. They were engaged, they never got married, the relationship was over, but she was still wearing the engagement ring and talking about her ex. Again, this means the woman is very disrespectful and you want to move on. Okay, finally, she doesn't want to introduce you to her family. This is a little bit further down the road. You obviously can't expect a gal to introduce you to your family after you've only had a few dates. But if you've been dating her for a while, if you've been dating her for several months and she won't introduce you to her family, again, that's a red flag. Okay, so if a girl refuses to introduce you to your family, move on. She's not the girl for you. She's going to be problems down the road. Okay, that means her interest isn't that high. She may give you this excuse. She may give you that excuse. But the bottom line is her interest isn't sufficiently high. Okay, so again, guys, we want to look for these red flags early on in the relationship. We want to find a woman who's loving, flexible, giving, kind, and respectful. And if you avoid these red flags, that greatly increases the chance that you'll find a high quality woman.